This is professional.
No cut there.
And we're on.
Do you want to redo it?
I just got back from Vegas, NBA Summer League.
46-degree weather.
Can you actually put a wing sound effect when I... Sorry, go on.
Using basketball, I would be less annoyed at missing a highlight dunk on photo than video. Or highlight block.
What if someone's like celebrating?
Yeah, the celebration's a good one.
What was the question?
Can you answer? Why did your camera break?
Yes, anyway. I was illegally
This is
over
the
there.
quick answer, folks. Could you imagine if I told him to tell a story?
No, well, okay. Very much enjoyed my experience because...
Rapid?
No, it's a great point.
Make some stuff. There are big ships, there are small ships, but most importantly, there are friendships.
Ah.
What am I saying? So getting told you're in the wrong spot. That feeling of like, hey, I've actually like impacted someone in it might be a minimal way. It's very cool. But yeah, what's your thoughts?
No, I would just...
Go on, mate. What's your thoughts?
Look at the camera. What am I saying? That should be in the start of it. Look at the camera. No worries.
Hello and welcome to the first ever YouTube show of 2x Creative. This is going to be a sort of one-stop shop for content creation. If you're a videographer, photographer, or maybe just wanting to master content creation, because in a sense that's sort of what we're doing, aren't we?
That's what we're here for. No, it's exciting doing this stuff. It's going to be a more longer form stuff where we just... Like nothing too professional, nothing too like
hang out in the spare room,
crazy structured, but just getting together. I thought it'd be cool to just to capture what we do every week, I don't know, even from a content perspective and not a content perspective. Like I think this stuff is always cool. I'm rambling a bit, but it doesn't matter. This stuff's always cool because it like when it's personal, you kind of relate more to the brand and the people. So we'll just get together, chop it up. It'll be pretty specific each week. This time will be Summer League. I just got back from Vegas, NBA Summer League.
46-degree weather. Well, let's start on that because you were sort of overthinking how hot it was going to be, but you wanted to embrace the experience. So you came back yesterday?
Yesterday morning.
Straight back into the show, by the way. So you're very committed. But how was it overall? How was the experience? NBA Summer League.
No, it was very cool. But it was just like Michael. Yeah, the setup. I always want to touch on the setup. I
was going to bounce straight back into the episode.
No, true. No, but you've done well here, and I was keen to get into it straight away because it's kind of exciting when you do something new for the first time. So yes, I did get back yesterday morning, but for some reason I wasn't that jet lagged, and I always kind of feel like a bit, not like jet lag doesn't affect me, but tomorrow or maybe tonight I'll crash.
It can take a while to set in.
I think it can, but I think as long as you stick to the schedule of where you come from, like where you are. I didn't sleep until 9 p.m. yesterday, even though I was pretty tired. Anyway, we're getting off track. But Vegas was cool. It was first time doing Summer League, of course. So it's obviously us being NBA fans and just basketball fans. It's kind of like a basketball paradise, I'll call it.
Yeah.
But the heat was... Guy Neville, who actually... He submitted a fair few questions. He's my manager at the NBL. But he was just like, Darren, I don't know if you're built for Vegas. And I was like the heat.
Why'd you send me there?
Yeah, why'd you send me there in the first place? But he was basically just like, I don't know if you can handle the heat. So I wasn't looking forward to it. But you kind of do get used to 40-degree plus
because every day was literally 45, 46.
Yeah, and even I reckon it sounds worse when you say it. So when you're actually there, I was just like, I took a while to... Actually, no, I didn't take a while to adjust to it because I feel like the first day, literally, I was with Pete Hooley. He does like NBL commentary and everything for us. I was with him and he's like, as soon as you step off that plane, the heat like literally punches you in the face, and it does. You kind of just like, we're here, but you don't really look back. Like you adjust it pretty quickly, weirdly.
And I'm sure from people can tell that we're not exactly built. We're sort of transparent built for the weather, not like built.
Like,
but our skin complexion isn't exactly built for that type of weather. So I guess for context, so we've got a whole bunch of fan questions. We had a lot of people submit questions. I mean, Guy, you mentioned your boss. He submitted probably 8 by himself, but I reckon we could do questions first, like to recap it.
Yeah, because then it's like, because the things with fan questions are great, but I've got a few other things where you do it at the end and you've pretty much covered them all anyway.
Yeah, you often lead it at the end.
That's great call by you.
It's not even following the run sheet.
You've actually got a nice setup. Oh, why do I always talk about the setup anyway? You've done well, run sheet, everything.
Well, actually, in the comments, let us know what it looks like, because we are just in the spare room of my house, so...
Maybe it looks terrible. The lights are good, two times creative orange, but... Fan questions, you want to jump straight into it and ask me whatever the hell?
I'll start reading them out, but I reckon, for context, I think someone actually asked this, but why were you there firstly, and what were you doing? Because because overall you didn't really
no, that's true.
Touch on why you were there.
It's a good point because sometimes you just assume people are in your minds.
Yeah. Where do you work? Like, why?
So it was,
might
yeah,
not even know that.
that's the fun stuff. It was for work, obviously. So, not obviously because
Where do
I'm
you work
explaining it. NBL. So that's the Australian Basketball League for anyone that doesn't know. But yeah, I was there for work purposes covering the NBL because there's just so many relations and like players that have either come from the NBL that have been imports in the past. That's like mainly American, well, pretty much, yeah, just American guys that have played in the league. But there's so many connections, I should say, that have played NBL that
Australian
go into summer league.
connections,
Yeah,
yeah.
Australian connections. So they could purely be Aussie players like Johnny Furphy. He just got drafted out of Kansas, but he's just Australian. He doesn't actually have any link with the NBL, but it's more just, hey, we're Australian. We're gonna go over there, chat to him about Australian basketball in general, not just the NBL. So any connection to the NBL, that was it.
I think it's sort of a nod to the expansion of the NBL almost, because you're not just covering this isn't a basketball show, but you're not just covering the NBL, you're covering players, and you were there for photography, videography, editing, everything.
Yeah, so pretty much me and Pete Hooley, I was the one behind the camera, as you just said, whether it was like photography, videography of the actual games, but the main reasons were like interviews. So it's pretty cool. Like you walk down.
Let's actually put up the behind the scenes. We'll put up the behind the scenes vision of what Darren's talking about here, because you made a cool little compilation.
Yeah, so I was going to bring that up. Just a great insight into what me and Pete Hooley did, because you see the polished product a lot of the times, whether it's like the interviews, and they're always like neatly put together.
Perfect.
Obviously you're not going to put together the fun stuff or the bad takes or whatever, but I really like behind the scenes footage. So we did like a cool compilation of just like, even if it was stuffing up or me being an idiot on camera, because I got quite comfortable just being with Pete. So he's a great guy. Shout out to Pete. But
sure he's watching.
it's a fun thing to do with someone you're pretty comfortable with. So that was just a fun video, but please overlay this because you're editing it.
I am. I think it's the authentic stuff that's not perfect is. I mean, as everyone knows, if you make content for a living or you're in
It's
the
almost the best
content
part.
game, well, it is. It's not almost. We make certain points here on
Statements.
What are we calling it? So Darren liked TTC TV.
I woke up and thought 2 times greater
Yeah.
TV had a ring to it, TTC TV, so
we'll
we can call it that for now.
There's a lot of letters. It's like TTT 3, 4, 5, C.
Well, it still looks good if you're just looking on it.
True. All right, let's get stuck into the
more
question.
something we can reference. TTC TV.
No, I like it. I like it.
Can you actually put a wink sound effect when I... Sorry, go on.
This is not going to be...
Anyways, did I probably
Further
cover it?
polished.
Yes, it was pretty much just covering any NBL and any Australian connection at the NBA Summer League. That's a one sentence to summarize why I was there.
And you did everything. What
everything.
camera gear were you using? Let's give people a rundown of what you actually used to capture everything.
No, that's a good point. I was going to say, well, I was using one before it carked itself.
Yeah, maybe
but
it's not a great
Sony
segue.
plug. No, we love Sonys. No, so I've only brought one like body camera. That was a Sony A7, which may have lasted 3/4 of the trip. I can touch on that later. But Sony body, 24-70 lens just for the interviews and stuff. And I always bring the 70. You know, every time I talk about the
200?
big lens, yeah, is it actually 70 to 200 or 80 to 200?
No, 70.
They both start with 70. Well, they both finish in it. Yeah, anyway. The 70 to 200 lens is what I use for
straightforward.
any sort of game coverage. So I had to bring that one. But just two lens. Sony camera quit, the Rode Wireless Go. We pretty much use that for everything.
Yeah.
Rode.
With the DJI mics in the road though, so it's a bit...
Yeah, for this one. Didn't really make sense. But yeah, just audio equipment. But it was pretty light on because I don't want to carry too much. I packed my tripod in the actual suitcase, which... Only use a tripod once, by the way, but had to get it for any proper interviews.
Handheld's king. I don't like.
Well, especially in that setting.
Yeah, true.
Like, I'm not gonna carry the tripod the entire time around basketball games.
You know, I used to do that. So I used to work at the football club. For people that don't know, we used to do that a lot. Just lug around the tripod on your shoulder. You felt like a
Don't use it.
boss.
Oh, you get more respected.
Yeah, and
equipment.
The bulkier the tripod, the better.
All right, come on.
True questions. All right. So this is from Liam. Who is your favorite person to shoot?
Favorite.
I assume he means player.
Yeah, no, I'm a sucker for just like any NBA rookies that were drafted pretty high, and this is your first time seeing him. I had a bit of a love affair with Martis Buzelis, the Chicago Bulls guy.
Yeah.
He just has some attitude to him. I really like him, so seeing those guys up close in person is cool. But then when I was thinking about this question, all the Australian connections are cool as well, because you see him in the NBL, and then you see him with an NBA jersey on, and that's really cool.
I really hope this is recording. Oh yeah, never mind.
Jesus,
We're on.
professional.
No cut there.
And we're on.
Do you want to redo it?
No, so whether it's the NBA, I'm answering a question. Whether it's the NBA connection or the NBL connection, both are super cool because
Just get real
for different
distracted.
reasons. So,
Yeah, no, and you bumped into him at the.
Can you talk us through this gear? Some old school, really old school.
No, this is actually
Camera
really
gear behind
cool.
us.
This is actually really cool. I mean, major sidetracked here, but I got gifted this from my family-in-law, well, my wife's family.
What do you mean this? Which ones?
Everything. So all the equipment you see in the background is old school video or camera or photo gear from my wife's grandpa.
That is cool.
And it's so cool. Like, you should actually stop and play around with some of this because it's
this is the first time I looked at this.
It's not. Yes, way to appreciate the space, my man. But it's actually really cool excuse to put it to use because it was just sitting in a box in the study. So
cool.
Yeah. Anyway, and you bumped into, I don't know his name, Buzelis.
Yeah, I was Martus Buzelis. I saw him.
Where'd you bump into him?
What do you mean? Did I tell you that? Or did you just have a twin thing?
What, you playing blackjack? And...
Oh yeah, so I must have told him. I thought he must have just realised that Anyway, we were. I didn't gamble much, but Pete Cooley kind of peer pressured me into a bit, and like I feel like you're in Vegas, and people are like, "Oh, you got to." I don't really enjoy it, but anyway, Martus Buzelis was sitting right behind us at some like pub we're at, and then Pete was like, "Get a photo with him because you love him so much." But I'm like, I don't know. Are you the type of fan that if you saw, I don't know, Ben Wallace, one of Michael's original favorite players, if you saw him, would you actually want a photo? Like I want a photo, but I also don't want to be that person that's like, Martus, like
I think context. Like,
please put down your steak and take a photo with me.
Yeah.
Like I was fine just to see him and be like, cool.
I think that's fine. Right. Anyway, this is meant to be a bit of rapid fire, I guess, in a way. So here's Guy's onslaught of questions. Why is Paolo Banchero the next Ben Simmons?
This still irks my. Grinds my gears, whatever. That anyway.
It's an inside joke that Darren got fed up.
Sorry, I get very irritated, but I'm actually not going to acknowledge
Guy
idiocy.
Why did you break your camera?
I didn't break it. Well, I'm going to blame the Vegas heat for breaking it. But so what happened? Really quickly, the whole thing.
Make it quick.
Huh?
Make it quick.
Oh, sorry. The whole thing. Well, some of the experience mainly. The important stuff is related around audio, and we need audio to record the interviews. Obviously, like this. These
are the microphones.
Yes, just tucked an NBL mic cube on top, and it looks professional for what it is.
Shout out, Road. You're doing a great job.
You are. Got distracted by that plug. We should just do random ads in the middle of this, and of course, Apple. No, sorry. You can cut that. I actually didn't like that.
That's fine.
What was the question?
Can you answer? Why did your camera break?
Yes, anyway, so the mic jack, after doing all these testings where there was like upgrading this equipment, the Sony equipment, like the actual software, we thought we figured it out, but the mic jack broke on the Sony A7.
I think because mine had a similar issue, so I think it might be an A7.
No, it is because I
connectivity issue. Yeah,
I googled it and people was like, my Sony A7 III, which is what I brought. This is an issue, so I literally just died. I almost was at this point of. I almost had to hire a different body lens, but because there was all these credit card issues and your ID issues being over there or whatever, and I'm an illegal. No, I was illegal.
This is the quick answer, folks. Could you imagine if I told him to tell a story?
No, okay. The mic jack broke. Mic jack broke.
And luckily, Brit from your work was there, just holidaying by herself.
Sorry, yeah, Saviour, Brit.
Sorry, I made it longer.
Yeah. Next chapter, Brit came into the picture. No, she brought her own camera. She was actually just holidaying there. Every single day she was there with her mum, just enjoying the basketball, was absolutely lapping it up. But completely saved us by using her gear for the interviews.
Thank you, Brit. All right. Well, actually, this one is from Guy, and it's a serious one, unlike most of his other ones. But someone else asked this. So, what was your favorite photo and why?
Oh, yeah.
And we'll overlay this if you've got it in mind. Otherwise, you could even look on.
It's more like a series, because it's more like the meaning behind them. Actually, no. I got a few of these guys, but Joe Lualachul and Ariel Huckporty both played at Melbourne United with the NBL last season, and they just happened to play, like they both got contracts
against each other.
Yeah, with the NBA. Like Ariel got drafted, JLA got like the Summer League roster, but yeah, they were playing against each other, and it was just super cool to see them in NBA jerseys lining up, like out rebounding each other, like going up, and JLA actually dunked on him, which was, I got that on video, so you can overlay that one as well. Just, how do you click? Yeah, there you go. So that video, but the photos definitely were probably my favorite because it means more than what the picture represents.
Would you, you actually?
It does mean
no. It does, and that was a good line. I think
you're saying I'm too wordy.
No, where my mind was going. Well, there's always sort of one host on a podcast.
Do I speak too much?
speaks too much. I think it's going to be Darren. Let us know in the comments. You know what's good in the YouTube shows as well is like every fourth sentence is let us know in the comments. I'm going to be that guy.
And if you haven't subscribed,
yeah, subscribe down here.
okay.
And
Let us know in the comments if you can tell us apart because we've not done a great job. Black on black on black.
That's true, actually. Anyway,
Next question.
those photos reminded me you had some unreal shots shooting through things.
Thank you so much. No, yeah, you love. Michael loves it.
So if you got something in the foreground that's blurry, but you're shooting past them, perspective captures the moments, tells the story.
Michael, he absolutely loves shooting through objects. But yeah, there was definitely a few because there was the restrictions at the games. I don't know. You didn't ask.
Oh yeah. Well, that wasn't a question, but touch on. Is it restricted?
It's a bit different. It depends on what security guards kind of see you because originally I'm not allowed on the baseline without a vest, and you also the vest is like. It's almost like a token for one game only. So at the end of the game, you're technically meant to give it back.
Because
there's two stadiums.
Should have worn it.
Okay. There's two stadiums. So you go in between, and I'm jumping in between, depending on who NBL related / Australian related was on which court. So I'm not there for the full game. Sometimes I'll go and grab whatever, but security guards that are nice and just like hand out the vest when you're not technically meant to be shooting baseline, very much appreciated. But at the same time, what, too wordy? No, I don't care. At the same time, it's an insight. At the same time, I enjoy shooting from back because then you get like different angles, not just baseline.
Yeah, and I've gone on rants before on 2x Creative. If you're not following at 2x Creative on Instagram, that
I was gonna say they're there for a reason. They're literally watching this on 2x Creative,
not Instagram. The baseline is overused in basketball, particularly, and I know sometimes photographers can only sit there, but I think you do a good job scouting the environment.
Exactly.
Would you go back to Vegas ever again? This is still from Guy, so I'll read out the next name when it's not from Guy.
It's like, but if you send me again, so that was really strong. No, I'm more than happy to. I very much enjoyed my experience because
rapid.
No, it's a great point because you have to embrace being there.
How annoying is Pete to travel with?
Was that from Pete?
No.
Oh, he's a guy. No, he's a great dude. Great dude. The best part about this is short. The best part about traveling sometimes is not often the destination; it's who you do it with.
It's the friendships.
Put that on a t-shirt because it's true. You get to see these people out of the office, which
saying?
Is very different.
No, it is.
For good and bad. Not bad for Pete, but some other people you're like, I did not know that person was like that, and you learn some things maybe you didn't.
It could break some stuff. There are big ships, there are small ships, but most importantly, there are friendships.
Ah. Moving on.
Thanks for
Let us know in the comments.
Charlie is a good follow-up to 2x Creative.
Charles.
Did they invite you to it, and did you ever think this would happen? So I guess it's just more the context of why you were there.
No, NBL invited me to it. Shout out to Guy. Put me on the list this year. We normally do it with a great man called Howard. He's our video guy, but I was he's based there, but I was a substitute this year. So hopefully I nailed the brief, and maybe Guy will send me every year. Maybe Vegas will be a normal thing.
And we can reminisce on the first ever episode.
Yeah, true. So was there a second part of that question?
Did you ever think this would happen? So I guess NBA Summer League, we watch it every year. Do you ever think you'd be there?
Well, I think
you've got the ties to be
I'm going to loosely say, do you ever think you'd be shooting NBA? I always wanted to, and I'm sure Michael's the same, but I'm not sure how we would get there. But
yeah,
for some reason I thought one of us might eventually get some sort of chance. So yeah.
Which is, I mean, we're very fortunate to be in the position that we could, that could be realistic because growing up and young photographers that's not a normal thing to be like, I reckon I could shoot NBA one day, unless you've got good manifestation skills.
That's a good, you literally have to speak stuff into existence. I'm more and more.
Yeah.
That's a vibe.
Aiden, how did you get the chance to shoot and who was your favourite player to shoot? You already answered that. Thank you, Aiden.
Thank you, Aiden, but we're not answering that one.
He answered it. Jules, how many t-shirts did he pack?
Well, Guy was very much like it's a very polo-centric trip. Everyone's wearing polos, so I did half, about 4 polos, 4 t-shirts. Pete Hawley, shout out to the great man, forgot to pack his pile of t-shirts. So I'm pretty sure he lasted on 2 t-shirts the entire time.
That's disgusting.
No, sorry, like he had many polos, but 2.
I was gonna
one
say,
pair of boxes though.
That's all. Did you share? Yeah. Anyway, lucky last from Kurt. What are some differences? I think this is more gameplay. Do the players / officials treat you differently? Oh, so maybe
officials.
So maybe more.
True.
Oi, NBL polo.
You were the best on.
No, so Well, I guess it's touched on your interactions with staff there and any other differences from NBL to NBA, maybe actually shooting the games.
Well, the games themselves, those boys are way more athletic than our. Well, maybe not way more, just like you'll see some stuff that you very rarely see in Australian basketball because everyone knows that American athletes are crazy. But
Yeah.
shooting, not really. It's all much of the same because, and that's a good thing because it makes you more confident. Like it'd be so easy just to walk into an NBA arena and even like America, like it's not something we're familiar with. It'll be so easy to get in your head about like what am I doing here, or is it the same? Am I allowed this spot? But if you just treat it like an NBL game in Australia, the people working there are pretty much the same. Like they're gonna have the technicalities of where you can and can't be, but as long as you just be respectful. Like the first game I was sitting in a wrong spot where I shouldn't be, and this really nice guy was just like,
could you imagine?
I felt it. No, and the really nice guy just came up and said, "Oh, sorry, but you're not actually meant to be here. But you know what? I'll give you a red vest so you can just go on baseline and be closer." I'm like,
that's nice.
Yeah. So literally just interactions like that. This fills you with confidence. Like you're all just people.
There's a big part of
did not like me in the center of the court when the actual
there's a big part of finding out what am I saying? So getting getting told you're in the wrong spot. So finding out the hard way.
Yeah.
So trying things and going somewhere even if you're not sure, and then it actually works out in your favor.
It's also just not even that much of a big deal. Like you go somewhere you're not meant to be and you're like, sorry. It's not like these people, and sometimes you get people that are a bit harsh, but
yeah. What about the creative culture, the creatives culture? So the amount of photographers and videographers you saw.
Good segue. Did you look at the screen for that, or do you remember that?
No, I'm actually making a point not to look at the run sheet, so it looked like a natural.
Yeah, no. A lot of people. You think you walk into an Australian gym? People call it a gym over there. So every time I was like, "What time are we going to the gym?" But you go into an Australian gym, and the amount of cameras. Sometimes you're like, "There's a fair few," but there's different levels over there. Like everyone,
like double, like that many.
Yeah, probably. Well, there's just so many. Like, because there's so many networks.
17, 18?
Okay. There's so many networks and, like, associated media companies that are there to cover the same thing. So, there's so many different with people's...
different types of people.
There's so many different types of people with different cameras and stuff, but super cool networking with them.
So I was going to say, including, so we've both followed David Sosno. If you don't know that name, he
never talked to him.
But he Phoenix Suns, and I think he was at Cleveland.
I think Cleveland was where he first was at, and that's where me and him kind of came across his work. And then we went to Phoenix.
Yeah, so he's someone we followed from afar. So I think Darren just passed him in one of those moments where he's like, "Oh, it's that David guy." Did you? I'm guessing you didn't interact with any of them.
I wasn't brave enough to interact with him because you see him and you're like, that's really cool because like you don't know him, but in a way you kind of feel like you do because you've been following him for a while, and I know you've had interactions with David.
You got a text or something you wanted to?
That's the timer.
Oh.
Did you restart it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You can cut that.
This.
I wasn't bold enough to interact with him because you see him and like there was one time dude that follows around Jordan Poole. What's his name? J Squared.
J Squared.
I've interacted a fair few times with him online, and just I think he knows that I'm from Australia, and he knows that he kind of
because you used to edit for him.
What? No, that was Meek Mill.
Mill.
What the hell? Meek Media. Meek Mill's the rapper.
I'll actually be curious if anybody's watching that in the of these names that we're saying, so the basketball creatives. Let us know in the comments again, but also drop us your favorite. one.
Drop us your favorite because it'd be funny if there was some that. Yeah, so I'm going to rattle off some. So David Sosno won. I was like, that's cool to see him in person. J Squared, he was literally just following around Jordan Poole. And I was this close to saying hello to J Squared. I don't know his real name. That's the other hard part of it.
Is it Jimmy?
Just Jordan?
No,
Jim. I don't know. But that's the other hard part because I don't want to be that person that's just like J Squared.
I'm sure in the American culture, like that would be so normal for them.
It's probably normal.
He probably doesn't answer to. It's probably
yeah.
Good night, J Squared.
Yeah, true. You're right. The other guy was that Chicago Bulls dude, Joe Pinches or something. Joe
Pinchin.
He's very tall. Maybe he's plays as well.
He's unreal.
Yeah, the Chicago Bulls guy, Joe something. He'll pop up if you type in Joe Chicago Bulls.
I'm trying to think of others.
Saw him. Be Like Mike. I'm not. I didn't know. I definitely followed him, but I didn't know.
That doesn't ring a bell to me.
Go follow him. He's more. He does photo and video.
Should I do it now?
He should do it right live and see if he follows you back. No, but he caught Michael Despozelis, a few dunks of his. There was this really good one. I don't know if you can be bothered overlaying this. Michael's editing this, so no, sorry.
Can we swear?
Can we swear on this thing? Thanks for editing in the future. But Be Like Mike.
I'll pop his profile up. Go for it.
Yeah, caught a great one of Marcus Buzel's dunk, but then he kind of the thing I like about him,
Can you turn the heat off?
Yeah, it's pretty warm. Just like that. He got a great angle of Buzel's just basically staring at his opponent after dunk on him, and that's the stuff of
he does have a
videography
bit
and stuff
of,
that
after your because I'm not the most NBA draft knowledgeable guy, but after you posted that, he does have a bit of shit about him. That's what
I said.
Anyway, we're getting side. What are we actually talking about?
The content creators. Yeah, be like Mike. Some great summer league stuff. A few other ones. Oh, who was the other one I was just thinking of? There's some big time ones that we followed for a while, and it's just cool seeing them in person, even if you don't have the balls to say something to them.
Probably a better phrase for that.
Well, I didn't.
You know, it's funny about I mean, you don't. It's not. I don't think it's the type of person you'd ask for a photo of. You'd probably just.
Oh, sorry, no, just
get a conversation. Yeah,
networking.
You know, it's funny
and
about.
You should, because you always feel better.
And
but I didn't. And now I feel worse.
Oh, well, next year you'll be there next year. So what I was gonna say, what I find funny about, and let us know if you relate in the comments.
Jesus Christ.
What's funny about when you interact with other creatives is there was one, I'm not going to name them and what shoot I was, but sometimes when people see...
Name and shame, baby.
No, I don't actually know his name, but if you're watching, let us know in the comments.
Okay.
Anyway, sometimes there's this thing, I don't know if you find this, and let us know in the comments if you do.
You're overdoing it.
When you're holding camera gear and you see another videographer, for example, and this is what happened to me, this guy came straight up to me, didn't introduce himself, didn't say who he was, straight away, just like eyeballing my camera. He's like, what camera is that? And it's like this ultimate like...
Didn't say hello, like you didn't...
No, it's just like it's like I've got something to connect with, so I'm going to just go straight to it and not even make conversation. It's almost like a... not a like judging off what type of camera are you, like, but what camera is that? And then in your head you might be like, oh, I'm better than him.
That's a bit weird if you wouldn't even say hello or act nice.
I just found it funny.
But anyway, you should, like, I was saying this to Britt actually. Britt looked up to, you know, the Houston Rockets content.
Oh, she's very good too.
Hannah's someone, people love her even over here because she does like vlogs and like gives people good insight.
Good on LinkedIn.
Michael loves a LinkedIn post.
Good on LinkedIn. I forgot her name though. She's good on LinkedIn.
Can we talk about how Michael regularly steals my LinkedIn newsletters? I mean, my newsletters and puts them on LinkedIn. He asks anyway.
Good segue. If you want to go to our so we actually do have a weekly newsletter that, if you are a videographer, photographer, creative, maybe you just work in content, that's what it's designed for. That's what Darren's relating to here every Monday morning.
It's true. As I was saying, interact with people because Britt looks up to the Hannah lady from the Rockets, and she was there. It was quite funny. I was little story time, but no, Hannah was just standing there, and I'm just like, Britt, go up to her, because Britt was just like, I really want to say something because I've chatted to her online. She's someone I'm looks up to, and I'm just like, you'll feel better if you go up to her and interact and just say, hey, this is me.
She did.
She didn't. She eventually did, but on that day, Britt was like, no, she's busy. And then at that very moment, Hannah was literally just standing in like sort of like a corner by herself, messaging someone. I'm like, she's quite obviously not busy. Just go over there. But credit to Britt because the day after she came back and she's like, I talked to her, like I interacted with her. So, and you do feel much better even if you feel a bit weird. Just like tapping them on the shoulder and saying something because you don't know them, but you still just want to say hello.
No, I agree. And put yourself in the other person's shoes. Like me and you have had those moments where we've texted each other straight away saying some randoms just come up to me and complimented me that they follow us or whatever. And it's a weird feeling because you're not like used to, it's not like you're not a big shot, but that feeling of like, hey, I've actually like impacted someone in it might be a minimal way. It's very cool.
And on that note, compliment people more. You know how far like compliment people. Yeah. Compliment can go.
This feels like one of those things that you've got a story in your mind or something.
No, something.
Pete, maybe Pete. I don't know.
Pete's not very positive. No, Pete. He said no. I think we try to say compliments to each other, but no, compliment someone like even just whoever you work with, whoever you see on social media. Like it's funny what a compliment can do just for. Because, you know, working for yourself, working full time for 2 times something.
2 times.
Don't know how that's going, but, you know, like sometimes you have days and stuff where you just doubt yourself and you'll be like, whatever, I'm not around. Michael loses the office interaction because he's just at home most days, and whether he's on shoots or whatever. But a compliment, you can be like, hey, I'm doing well. So just,
it helps.
I challenge you to compliment 45 people today.
I don't think that's good.
4.
Next bit you wanted to talk about, and I'm looking at the run sheet here. You were talking about, you texted me one day about the option of shooting. So you did video and photo the whole trip. How did you decide which to do?
2 cameras? No, just 2 cameras.
No, you told us you one camera.
It's true. That's a classic struggle. Even I feel like any live action I do, live action, live
know-
sport. I do.
Sorry to kind of, a lot of creatives
That's all right.
deny, not refuse to do it, but they don't do it as much as I thought.
Yeah, I've always had that thought or conversation with people who don't. Actually, it's more if they don't do it and they tell me they can't do it, the next person I talk with about that topic, I'm like, yeah, that's right. I was just talking to someone who said they don't do video even though they can do photo. Anyway, I find that...
No. I mean...
Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, so if you're a hybrid shooter, like if you do videography and photography,
Mm.
and some people, like, I think they're very strict on, I can do both, but I'm not going to do both during a basketball game, for example, because
Oh.
like they're very big on, which I agree with to a point, that you're not going to get the best video output if you want me to capture both, because there has to be a choice to be made.
No, that's a good point. I thought you were saying you've met photographers that be like, I can't do video, or vice versa.
Oh, no. Well, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, no, but that's a good point, because I will say the games that I've been... Probably a good example is the Boomers games. Like, they only like you shooting photos from that game. It is more enjoyable sometimes if you only do one photo or video, because, like you said, you don't have the choice. You're not going to miss something you think would turn better as a photo if you're only shooting photos. So there is something to that.
So did you have a system? Because I sometimes do, which I'll be happy to touch on after this.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm talking about myself a lot here. So let's touch on you later.
No, it's the Vegas. No, it's the Vegas. Vegas episode.
Okay. Tone it down a bit, but
Turn that down.
my methodology was, I think video helped us back at NBL HQ, I call it in Australia. It helped us more first with having the overlay of our guys, hitting a three or just doing something on court. So it was definitely video first. If I think I've had enough video, photos always help us, because photos, they're quicker to turn around and they tell a better story. Sometimes, like the whole JLA versus Huckbody thing, that tells a way better story if you just see them on an NBA court together with NBA jerseys. That tells a better story than I'm going to do like a video montage of them.
Yeah.
Much more time, like lengthier.
It's not required.
Yeah, you don't really need it. The photo does way better. So video first, then photo, because I just enjoy posting NBA photos as well. If you click on my Instagram, there was like 10 posts of just like non-NBL related things. So
Well, that's
you can
the
sneak
whole
in both.
novelty there. What do I do? Did you want to ask what I do?
Well, I'm sure it changes every shoot, but yes, what do you do?
No, so something I've tried to do with live sport is, and you always communicate this with the client first, so like you're not going to get the best of both in a sense. So what do you want first? And a lot of the time, if it's up to me, I'll go video live play, and then photo I only switch to where there's dead balls for the moment.
That is interesting. You do it every single time, or just depending on
if it's up to me.
Yeah.
If it's up to me where they want both, I'll that's how I've found. I think I did it once or twice, and I think if you're gonna miss a moment, you don't want it to be the highlight play in video, because that could be your whole point of shooting, right? Whereas photos, if it's a dead ball or there's someone sweating, you capture that moment and you still get the moment. And you can still say to the client, I'm going to give you a photo of each player, ideally, but it's not going to be in action necessarily. That's just how I've started to do.
I think for the most part, you're correct. No, I think that's...
Well, what's your thoughts?
No, I would just...
Go on, mate. What's your thoughts?
Holy moly. My thoughts are... It would definitely
depending on the project, you're right. I'm just saying.
That's where I was going. It's very much dependent on the client. That's what I would say, because, like, if the client values photography and you see it on their website and their socials and stuff, and that's a big thing of like you said, live play, if someone dunks, I'm always going to go back to basketball, by the way, but soccer, if someone's kicking a goal and you see the celebration, that's like what their brand really aligns with that moment photography wise, I feel like it would depend on each project and each client, but I reckon the video thing, live play and photos during more dead balls. Dead balls.
Yeah, there's not live play. And
interesting discussion though.
Yeah.
Whether you prefer, if you're a hybrid shooter, what you prefer, or what's easier, or whether you prefer just one at a time.
I think it's definitely easy to communicate that you're going to get the best value doing one at a time, and just ask the client what is your purpose, and then you make
just
a decision.
ask them. Over communicate. Communication is the key to life.
I will say that my biggest skill working for 2 Times Greater full time is communication.
I'm
hot on those emails.
No, it's good. You can't be like. There's definitely an element if you're over the top, you might scare off people, but it's definitely better to over communicate.
Just buy them every second.
Hey,
if you just send me an email, you're getting one back within 3 minutes.
Yes, exactly. No, but I think it's a big part to make people relate to you and warm to you as well. But the whole photo versus video thing, touching on that, you really do kick yourself when you miss moments on one or the other. Like I've done the amount of times.
But I'd argue video. You wouldn't like. I'm not gonna using basketball. I'd be less annoyed at missing a highlight dunk on photo than video, or highlight block.
What if someone's like celebrating?
Yeah, the celebration's a good one. I'd rather.
Sorry, I haven't finished my example.
No. I was gonna say we should actually break it down. What you'd actually rather get. So highlight play. Sure. What would you rather?
This changes for me every time.
No. Just give me an answer.
What's the highlight?
A highlight basketball play. What would you rather? Video or photo?
Lots of highlights.
The actual play.
Lots of plays.
No, this is fun.
No, but depends what it is. If it's a game winner.
Okay, a game winner.
Probably video. But in saying that,
give me an answer. This is what you do on Shooters Podcast.
Probably,
you don't give a proper answer.
Plug. I think it actually depends.
Give me an answer.
I did.
Game winner, you're going to tell me you'd rather get a photo of a game winner.
No, I think video.
Celebration.
Yeah, and I can... No, video.
You want a video celebration.
Yeah.
I'd rather photo.
But a celebration or the actual moment. Good discussion.
The celebration, I'd rather a photo. The game winner, I'd rather a video.
The reason I sit on the fence is because I could talk myself into both right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
But my example was, if you had a celebration, but the celebration was the person celebrating and then people walk in front of the camera, you'd be kicking yourself if you got that on video and not photo, because the photo would be like, bam, here's a celebration. The video would be like, God, damn, I can barely see that. And it'll tell a much better story. That's the beauty of it. Before we get out of here, we got a great question on our emails. That is 2xcreative@gmail.com.
Yep.
Correct?
Correctamundo.
I've never said it before in my life. I'm sorry for that. But if you do have a question, it's very cool to get, like, Instagram DMs is one thing. But I feel like emails, it gives you a chance to, like, word it a bit differently and word it longer. And it feels more personal. I don't know if that's...
I think so.
I
think it'd be cool to answer one per week.
Yeah. So
even put it in the YouTube comments, to be honest.
Yeah, if you can't be bothered doing the whole email thing, literally just chucking in comments. But it is cool getting proper questions over email because it just gives you I reckon we'll answer it more in depth if it's over email. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think you're right. It's a bit more personal. But we got on this week, didn't we? So
want me to plug into that? No, yeah. So Shane sent us one. He was basically just asking, and this is a question we've talked about. We actually talked about it once we received it because it's for...
It was in response to our newsletter, I think.
It was, yes. But he's basically just saying, as you're filming video, it's mainly video. I'm pretty sure he's just talking about video. Yep. But as you're filming video live, how do you basically identify moments in real time that you will then use that footage for an edit? So, like, if you got a dunk on camera, how do you identify in that moment that's where it is? He talks about the hand over camera method, where I think people you film the dunk.
What that is,
yeah, you film the dunk. This is why you're still recording, and then at the end of it, you might just put your hand over the lens. So in playback, you will just see a black screen, and then you'll be like, "Hey, that's a clip I'm going to use."
That's where it happens. I think it's actually so when you're in Adobe Media Encoder or when you see all the thumbnails, I think people actually stop the highlight play, then film a separate video with black.
Oh.
So you see the black on the thumbnails and be like, the one before that is that.
No, that's pretty good. I don't mind that. It's just it's also about how much time you have. I talked about a risky method I do.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about this.
Which Michael was like, oh yeah. Well, first you're like, that's a good call. But then once I explain it, you're like, maybe not. Because what I've started to do is when I'm filming games, if I know there's a good highlight or a good slow-mo or something, if it's a clip I want to use, I'll keep it. And then literally, if I film something and nothing happens, I'll delete it on the spot. But the risk is with that, and this is what I did at Summer League as well, I was pretty scared sometimes if you, say you're looking at the playback and you film one, you want to look at something behind, and then when you press on the playback, it's not the most recent clip. You could easily accidentally delete something that you weren't meant to. So I think risky.
I think it's wise if you've got a quick turnaround, and live sport is probably a good example that you can delete it, but it's a bit risky for
It's risky, but it makes my whole editing thing very much more enjoyable because you'd have like 5 clips instead of 25.
Yeah. I think though, Shane, the only thing, I don't really have a system for it myself. I think hang on, what do I do? Hang on.
Oh, don't mind that. We were midway through recording.
I responded to him saying, this is what I do, and now I've forgotten what I do.
Sorry, is this part of the... You might as well keep this. I quite like it.
I think all I do... So I don't have a system to this. I keep absolutely everything, and I dump absolutely everything into Premiere. So I've got everything.
Yeah, you said that like a joke, but yeah, you do.
But you were laughing, so I thought it sounded funny. But it doesn't really relate to this because it doesn't help too much, but in post, you just color code absolutely everything.
Yes.
So your best bits of footage are purple.
Color coding is, yeah, and I'm with you because I'm still scared I'll miss something that's actually usable.
Yeah.
If you do the whole method of like that, where you only put in the clips that you see black and or whatever, then a black thing over the screen,
Yeah.
you still run the risk of, hey, I actually forgot about this clip or I didn't do it.
And then the if you don't do that, you can just do it in post, and maybe all of your greens are actually shit, and you're probably not going to use them, but all of your yellows are your best bits. So at least you know all your
And
best bits.
literally do let us know in the comments because I know we've used that as a joke many times, but I actually find it super interesting what people's work methods are. If you have a different workflow, if you have a different way of doing it that people are not missing out on, or it's really weird to you and you understand that it won't work, I'm still interested because it's funny. And it's like kind of, it's very intriguing how other creators work. You know what? I'm actually sick of talking myself. I just want to before we go, hope you enjoyed yourself. Michael, let's just touch on what you've been doing because, as everyone knows, Michael is the main. What are we calling him? The captain. The captain of 2 Times Creative.
I'm the captain. Your words. If you're not, I mean, if you're just stumbling across this video and you've got this far, thank you. Seeing as you don't know who we are, but 2 Times Creative is our content production business. It is co-owned by both of us, but day to day and week to week, it is me, and this guy helps out where he can and in a freelance capacity, but he has his own full-time job, obviously. So it's a unique system, but I think it has advantages. But
no, definitely. I'm still in it with him, but he's definitely the captain of the ship because pretty much everything you see he'll have done, it might be something to do with something I've had an input in, as in like a word, like a words to we've had a conversation about it, but mostly is what Michael.
I think most of that though, I would have guaranteed you would have had some input in terms of. I think I've joked in our newsletter. You're some form of like a hybrid consultant, brand strategy, content strategy, because it's not like Darren just sits there and like gives me nothing when I'm like help on it. I don't know which direction we're going as a business. He's like piss off. I'm at work. He does help a bit.
Yeah, but it's more the off the tools.
Anyway, your point. Yeah, that's just a bit of a recap.
My point is, what have you been doing lately? Because every week is different in the whole full-time content. What's the word? Freelance. Full-time freelance type. There is a funny. You should overlay this, but Michael was on a shoot where it actually wasn't to do with him behind the cameras, but he was more just like an assistant hand. Many hands make light work, as they say. But he was.
I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
You didn't, and then he sent a video to the family chat or whatever of him. Basically, it was like Olympic. You can explain it better, but it was like Olympic content. And Michael's in like a rugby helmet, and some random at the shopping centre, Chadstone. Southland passed him a rugby ball and he just ran off with it, and that was like content. But please explain it better than what the hell you were doing with it.
Quick recap. So it was for the Australian Olympic Committee, which is very cool. I got called up just as like a production assistant, but that was basically just an extra pair of hands, as you said. But all we were doing, we're trying to promote the start of the Olympics this Friday. So we had 4 or 5 sports. We got a basketball ring. We wheeled the basketball ring up to randoms and they took a shot, and then the photo is going to rate them out of 10. You've seen those before. I'm sure you've seen those before. But
fun content.
Fun content. So it was very different for me because usually I'm the one filming it. This was all phone content. But yes, the highlight was definitely we got to rugby. So this was to promote the rugby sevens and whatever else.
Who's your favorite rugby player?
Sure. And then what was funny was they pulled out a rugby helmet, and because I wasn't filming, it was my job to catch the rugby ball as random members of the public threw it to me. And then I thought there's no point half-assing this. So as they passed me the ball, I sprinted off. It was very fun.
I enjoyed it because I just liked it because there was actually an elderly couple around the corner as you ran around. Yeah, and I was like, that could have ended badly. Yeah. But again, good content. I think it was good.
I'll grab some other raw clips of it. I'll put 3 or 4 up on the screen because it was quite fun. But I guess... it's fun where a camera can lead you, even if it's indirectly not using the camera.
Summer League, Vegas.
Exactly. And for Australian Olympic Committee,
not
doing
so cool.
stuff for them.
Still in Melbourne, Australia.
Cool of them.
I'm kidding. It's very cool.
For some people.
It's very world. Actually, no. Olympics worldwide scale compared to Vegas basketball scene.
But in terms of what else is going on, well, I guess further context, it's been 6 months working under 2 Times Creative for a full-time capacity. So lately... Centre fitness app. So Centre is Chris Hemsworth fitness app. That was one of my favourite shoots I've done. So that was at a fitness competition in Melbourne called High Rocks. Did
It's
that.
paid off, clearly.
Yeah, kind of you
No,
can tell
sorry.
it's paid off. That was not funny. I just repeated what you said.
You're punchline.
Where's the
Incoming.
producer?
Gone.
What else has been going on? It's just a variety. I think the Olympics Centre, I had one. Oh, and then I did a little feature for AFL Players Association with Collingwood.
Mason Cox, yeah, that's
Mason
right.
Cox. So that was fun. And again, the people you get to interact with and do work with.
Based off
And
your skills with the camera. It's cool.
skills with the camera. But it adds an extra layer of enjoyment when it's just for yourself. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was fortunate enough to do it with Carlton Football Club, and we've both been fortunate enough to be surrounded by big names and athletes, but there's something different when you're representing yourself. Everything you do is on you, your setup, your execution. It's when someone says, thanks, you did a great job. When you're in a company, it's sort of like, of course, you played a part, but literally everything that they're saying thanks for, you
just you.
can't even be kind and be like, well, Darren did a bit. It was like,
No,
you
it's like
didn't.
it's the whole humble nature of like all of us are pretty humble sometimes, and you try to pass off compliments to other people, being like it's a team effort. But it's kind of cool when they're saying thanks to Two Times Creative, and
Yeah.
you're like, well, that's me, so I have no choice but to be like, well, thank you.
You got to embrace it. So a lot has been going on, a lot of variety. The Olympics one was probably a recent highlight.
Next one, like before we get out of here,
Yes.
FX3. Michael's been talking about whether he wants to get a new camera,
It's
get some
time,
new
yeah.
gear. I was not about to say let us know in the comments, but I genuinely, my like me myself, I don't know too much about how FX3 is, or how big of an upgrade FX3 is over the A7, the A9, even though both of us use the A7 more so. But I think, from my knowledge, FX3 definitely more a cinematic camera that's like gonna do much better in low light, gonna
Yeah.
like produce high quality like vision in terms of that stuff. But talk us through your mindset.
Well,
Are
I
you
mean-
wanting to get it? Are you over the line?
Oh, I'll do it soon. I think
Wow.
you got to invest back in yourself. As I said to someone the other day, you work hard for yourself. You got to invest back into
You
it.
do.
So budget correctly and figure out if you've got enough money. Firstly, but
I'll help you.
okay, thanks. No, I mean, and for context, Darren and I didn't study in film, video, or anything. So our knowledge of everything, there's still so much to learn. We by no means, we barely know anything about equipment in a sense. We've learnt a lot, but
I think we have to give ourselves more credit. We do know stuff,
well,
but
yeah.
the fun of it is that we continue to learn.
Yeah, so I want to really dive I guess focus on video. So obviously the A7 is more of a hybrid camera. It's good for both photo and video. We had two Sony FX3s at one of my previous workplaces, and they're a cinema quality camera without going up to like your Sony FX6s, which are like your bigger
Big one.
whatever. But yeah, it's time. It's cool. It's much better in low light. Yeah, I think in-body stabilization is something that I think will be beneficial. And again, the specs and text is not my strength, but it's just a better camera.
Specs and text. Do you use that line
Specs and
often?
tech.
That's good.
Well, I
Specs
didn't
and tech.
actually, but yeah. So it's a funny one when you're working for yourself, but you really do have to sort of reward yourself. And I know this camera is going to help me and you indirectly. So
Absolutely. I think you have to. That's a life motto as well. Go treat
What?
yourself for a nice dinner. Like you do. You
Yeah.
don't just work your
Yeah.
ass off for nothing.
it's there to be spent.
Exactly. That was fun.
Yeah, well done.
I
Are we
wasn't
done?
gonna hit you. No, that was good. I do it like. It doesn't matter if we. Well, actually, no. It does matter a lot if we enjoyed it. But I would love to know if you guys enjoyed something of that. Anything.
Well, hopefully, and
Maybe if
we'll
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, and stuff here we'll do it for ourselves anyway. But I think it's they're going to be regular, but I don't think we're going to force ourselves to do it weekly. It's going to be a focus on YouTube only, and I guess is it worth touching on why we didn't do a podcast and why it's YouTube?
Well, I think you can, but I think for one, it's definitely more a visual element in
You
some
connect
regards.
a bit better. You can see
do,
you
and
can see
I-
our eyes.
It's true, and yeah, you can. Oh, you could easily turn it into a podcast as well, because I was thinking about that. But there's something nice about following this on a YouTube sense because it's visual. I feel like you're going to create more time to watch it as well.
Yeah.
And you'll probably take more in.
You know why I like it?
I no.
Because everyone else focuses on podcast first, YouTube second. And I think everybody knows, you speak to people, and everybody seems to know the power of YouTube, but I'm just excited to like focus on that first
Well
and see
said,
where it
actually.
goes.
Yeah.
And what do we do for a living?
Content. What?
Produce videos. So it might as well be a video format.
Man, we should have rehearsed that one because content. Well, I had fun. You had fun. I hope you had fun. as well. I'm looking forward to the next time I come back to your study area.
Thank you.
Little room out here. It got a bit too hot during it. Also, there's no place better than home. And
After a long trip. Yeah.
After a long trip, it doesn't matter how good it is. It's good to be home. So good to be back in my brother's place.
So thanks for sticking around. That's a wrap. Give us a follow on all socials, 2X Creative, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. And obviously subscribe to our beloved YouTube. We've got our newsletter. I mean, there could be Plug Central if we really wanted to.
We're doing some cool things regardless.
We are. So thank you for watching. It's been fun. And we'll see you next time.
It was fun.
Darren's gone.